What's going on, family and friends? This is Terrence Manning, and this is My Thoughts Uncut. Today, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris. Her interview went south. Let's just say that. She got checked. She didn't know how to respond. You know what? Let's check it out.
But wasn't Joe Biden then, to put it on him, wasn't his refusal to recognize his own frailties the reason that you faced a nearly impossible task?
I ran against Donald Trump for president, and Donald Trump
That's not what she asked.
ran on a platform that was, in large part, I believe, misrepresenting his intentions to the American people. I do believe that there are a fair number of people that voted for Donald Trump who believed him when he told them that his first priority on day one is going to be to bring down prices, and he didn't.
Lady, you and Biden are the reason why the prices were so damn high. We all know the very first day he wasn't going to bring down prices, but we knew that eventually the prices would go down, and they have been.
And you combine that misrepresentation of intention with also what was at play in terms of massive amounts of mis and disinformation.
Now, forgive me.
And a
I want to
truncated calendar in terms of
yes,
the clock.
I want to interrupt you because
Yeah.
that is a world-class pivot, but it is not the question that I asked you, which is about Joe Biden's
We gotta do
failure to recognize
We got to do that again.
question that I asked you, because
Yeah.
that is a world-class pivot, but it is not the question that I asked you, which is about Joe Biden's failure to recognize his own frailties and what that did to you. The question is about Joe Biden. Are you still reluctant to criticize the former president?
In what regard, please?
Well, just in terms of that question. So you
What
went on.
exactly would you like to ask? Be more specific if you don't mind.
Was it Joe Biden's decision, his failure to recognize his own frailties in that position, that put you in the position that made it almost impossible to win that race?
He was not frail as president of the United States.
But he had frailties. We all saw the debate.
I do believe that Joe Biden had the capacity to be president of the United States, and I have never doubted that he had the capacity to be president of the United States.
You just said the same thing. And what is she talking about? She is either delusional and she really didn't have a clue because she wasn't really near him. They probably kept them away from each other because the word is he did not like her. Or she's lying, which I can understand why she was lying the whole time. But now she can tell the truth because everyone's telling the truth. But either way, it looks bad on her part. And we all saw Biden, especially after that debate. And we all saw how he just would walk. Like, what are you doing, dog? Wait, what? What is she talking about?
If you want to talk about whether he had the ability to endure what a race for president of the United States would require in that political environment in 2024, as I've said in the book, I had concerns.
I'm just wondering, is there a reason why?
So if you state that he was capable of being the president another 4 years, then why would you have concerns about what happened after the debate? If you still to this day say that he's fine, what reasons do you have for you to not be you're the only person that is saying he is still good to go? So when are you going to just be honest about that this man is gone because you're making yourself look dumb, or just have a better reason to why you think he's, I don't know. I can't even think of a reason why she can even lie about it. It's just clear. It's like you can't even think of a logical explanation on how you thought he was okay to go. He was fumbling, falling. I, oh man, who's talking to her and who's training her to say these things? Someone should be teaching her. Hey, just be honest. Like she's talking from one end out the other. I don't know.
You won't go to that prolonged frailty question. Now, we saw the debate, we saw the difficulty he had marshalling his
I
thoughts.
have answered that question. I do not believe that there.
I think it's just hard watching the debate to see how there could not be a problem long term with someone who can't marshal their thoughts. I'm not saying his acuity wasn't
talked
present.
about that in the book. And I also mentioned the context in which that debate occurred. And you'll probably remember how I talked about that in terms of what his travel schedule had been, that what he had been enduring in terms of the timing of that debate. I talk about it extensively in the book. I'm not shying away from that.
His travel schedule? What? You're telling me he couldn't handle that small travel schedule? Because the 4 years he was president, we barely saw him speak. He didn't speak much. And each time he spoke, it was disastrous. Trump speaks almost every damn day for hours. Even on the campaign trail, they were saying this man wouldn't sleep. And you're talking about Joe Biden couldn't handle a campaign trail when he wasn't doing much anyway. Jesus Christ. Like it if that's your excuse, and if he couldn't handle that, then why would you say he was capable of running for another 4 years?
That's why I wrote it in the book, because I do know it's a question people had.
I want to go to another question about him. You described this. I think it's one of the standout scenes in the book. You're preparing for one of the most difficult tasks a politician in the world can do, which is prepare for a US presidential debate against Donald Trump, perhaps the most difficult contender. Joe Biden called you. What happened?
He called to, I thought, congratulate me or to wish me good luck. And then he brought up other issues, which I have discussed in the book.
Which is, he was talking about some criticism that he'd heard from some donors in Philadelphia.
Correct. That's right.
Now, what did you think about that?
As I write in the book, it threw me off for a moment. But I obviously, if you watch the debate, you will see that it did not have any impact on my performance, which many people, if not most, would and did declare that I won that debate.
I'm curious because you are undercutting the language of your own book. You say in the book, Doug Emhoff, your partner, your husband, could see how angry and disappointed you were.
Yes, of course.
So let me ask you.
He did see that.
Yeah.
He did.
But
Hey, Kamala is not used to this. She ain't used to this kind of pressure. Now she understands what the Republican Party was going through when they would go to enemy territory on these interviews, and they would ask them follow up questions. But see, Republicans are built for that. Because one, they're very intelligent. Two, they know policy. And three, they're not scared to go to the enemy territory and answer questions and debate with the interviewer, which they were doing all the time. This woman had the easiest interviews. They didn't ask her any real questions, softball questions, worse than softball questions. Now she's getting some pushback and she can't handle it. Look how she look at her body language. This I'm gonna rewind it for you guys. Look at her body language.
just now, you didn't quite.
Yes, of course.
Your husband, language of your own book. You say in the book, Doug Emhoff, your partner, your husband, could see how angry and disappointed you were.
Yes, of course.
So let me ask you.
He did see that.
Yeah.
He did.
But just now, you didn't quite put it in those terms. Someone rings you at that crucial moment and talks about something else and then goes on to talk about his own debates against Trump. What was your reaction to him giving you that call?
I was upset about it,
she is
as I write about in the book. Yes.
I just sense a slight reluctance to go there, to put those words. It's one thing writing them in the book. Are you unwilling or reluctant to have your criticisms of Joe Biden, as frank as they are in the book, on tape, on camera?
Of course not. I wouldn't have written a book if I didn't want to be on record about that.
So,
That's a curious question.
well, no, I just thought I could.
Well, Kamala, you're not you're not saying anything. Like you wrote the book and she's asking you questions based on the book and how you feel, and you're not elaborating on anything. All you keep saying is, "Oh, I read it's in the book." You're doing this interview, one, to promote the book, yes, and two, possibly put yourself in a position where, oh, people like, oh, maybe she can be a president, run for president again. But you were doing bad on this interview.
Detect a difference between what the strength of the language, the clarity you sang, hurt and disappointed.
Well, here's the thing.
and
I
here you
wrote
are
a
now.
book that the book is not about Joe Biden. So a
Sure.
lot of your questions have been about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And I would really like to talk about the book in full. I'm happy to
We will.
directly answer any
Of
question you
course.
ask.
Yeah.
But the book is not about Joe Biden.
No.
No. We're not gonna let her slide. The book is also about Joe Biden. Why? Because Kamala, you and him will forever be tied together. This man, in the middle of his campaign, was running for president for a second term, and then he just stopped. And then you took his spot with no primary. There was no primary. You just took his spot. So, yes, this is the first time this ever happened in history. So, of course, they're going to ask you questions about Biden and how he was and how he was day to day because this is unprecedented. Like, I don't understand how you don't understand that you guys are forever tied to each other. This is going to be um, one of those questions where you're on Jeopardy or something like that. Like this is a forever question, and like I don't understand this lady. She is just dumb. Like, how do you not understand why the significance of Biden and you are like what?
Clearly a crucial issue. We all, not only, as you say, is it crucial because it left you with 107 days instead of a full-blown campaign period, but of course the whole world watched that presidency, saw what happened. It, of course, with the United
the whole
States, it
world
matters.
watched Donald Trump and watched Donald Trump as he campaigned and certainly as he is now conducted himself in the White House. And there's so much about the book.
What?
And the reason I wrote it, to one, give a certain sense of closure
She just on
about what happened in those 107 days. Another reason I wrote the book is that history will write about those 107 days as a part of American history. And I was intent on making sure my voice was present in the way that an unprecedented election, where you had a sitting president running for re-election 3.5 months before the election, decided not to run. The sitting vice president took up the mantle against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years.
Kamala, you are basically proving her point on why she asked you about Biden. You just said it yourself. It's unprecedented what happened. And you're getting upset that she's asking you questions in regards to Biden because you were right there. You were the vice president. If anyone would know there was something going on with him, it would be you because you said you were always with him hand in hand. Jesus.
With 107 days to go.
Does it make you angry that
This woman,
former President Biden still says he would have won?
I am focused on the present.
Well, let me ask you about that because you've referred to the state of America now. We can see it. America is undergoing what looks like, from the outside at least, an authoritarian revolution.
God, not that
So,
again.
to come back to the book, what does it offer in a practical sense at the moment, in this moment? What does it offer us?
Well, there are many things. First of all, I think it's important when the rest of the world looks at the 107 days and the outcome of that election, one, to be reminded, 1/3 of the electorate voted for the current president. 1/3 voted for me, and 1/3 did not vote. 2/3 of the American people did not vote for the person who's in the White House
What?
or that agenda. And it's very
What? This lady better correct her. So, 1/3 voted for Trump, 1/3 voted for you, Kamala, and 1/3 did not vote. With that same logic, you can also say 2/3 did not vote for you. Like, did she think that that was like a mic drop? This woman is dumb. Like, how did she get to become the vice president? This woman was almost our president. You Democrats voted for her. Black people, almost 80% of black men voted for her. 92% of you black women voted for this. What are we thinking? Stop voting based on race and identity politics. Vote for the best candidate. There's no way you can look at this interview and think that she can do anything Trump did when it comes to bringing money back to the U.S. and cleaning up the border. This woman said it took an act of Congress, just like Biden said. Oh my God.
Very important when the rest of the world is trying to, and it is head scratching to some extent, what's going on in America, what's going on with the American
Yeah,
people,
I
to
can't
keep that in mind.
we can't listen to her no more. We're gonna look at what this interviewer said after because she had a little insight of what transpired. Take a look.
I want to come back to the book and the purpose of the book. So
This is the last question. We're at time.
I want to come back to the book and the purpose of the book. So
This is the last question. We're at time. We gotta go. Sorry.
Damn.
yeah, well, that's almost a first, not an absolute first, but to have a member of staff of the former Vice President of the United States actually speak up during the interview to say that we were going too long. I didn't expect that. But coming back to the interview itself, it seems to me at its very heart, there is a reluctance on the part of Kamala Harris to actually spell out and talk about the issues that Joe Biden had as president. Was it Joe Biden's decision?
President of the United States.
We saw the difficulty
there-
with someone who on camera.
Book.
It's in the book, but it seems to me she doesn't want to say it on camera. I asked her that.
What
She
makes
denied
more
it,
sense.
but I think there is still a reluctance there to criticize Joe Biden, which makes her current pivot a really difficult one because she's Joe Biden's vice president. It seems she's still not prepared to completely condemn him, but she's got to be a character in her own right without Joe Biden attached in order to have a chance to run again. So that, before I came in, that was the heart of the interview, and it turned out to be the heart of the interview with a little extra from her staff.
Ladies and gentlemen, we almost had this woman as president of the United States of America, which would have been the worst thing that we have probably experienced in modern time, in the modern world. Um, this woman is incompetent. She cannot conduct herself when it comes to interviews when she's getting pushback. She has no thoughts on pretty much anything other than Trump is doing bad and Trump is a fascist. I'm surprised she didn't say Trump was Hitler this time, but I am so glad that she did not win because, oh my God, what this, oh God. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get all my other videos. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, Kamala, too. This was some good content.